So we are in the naturalist workshop, and I have a desk with samples on it. I have a desk with my lamp on it. Right now my oval of the world is at a beach. I have a setting of trees around me and different plants. I have all of my different things in my drawers. So for example, this are samples of tree leaves. And each one of my drawers are filled with different samples. So I will pick up this piece of paper here. I'm finding out that this is a white oak, and it has the tree's actual name on it under white oak too. So I'm going to take this sphere and I can look in it. I see and different developments. I see 2 cars coming towards me. I see road names. I also am able to see the back and use this information to tell where the white oak might grow. So if you're familiar with the back roads of middle of North Carolina, this picture definitely looks like that. And you can tell maybe different places that thing where you can actually take notes though. So you would have to use this interchangeably with I'll clear that off. And now I'm going to grab my next one. This is the Florida maple. So the Florida maple is going to be in this location. So it's kind of mountainous. There's lots of big trees around me. I can see maybe that there might be some water down that cliff. Well, it's not really a cliff, but I can see also that there's some rocks, and I just saw from the Florida maple, and use it to write different notes about where that actually grows, and what is needed in those locations to actually grow plants. All right, so my next one is the hazel alder. And it looks like little bugs kind of got in there and started chewing at the leaf a little bit. All right. So inside my world, I can see that I'm at a trail, and it goes all the way back on the right side, and it goes all the way back. All of the things that work in an ecosystem are together. This is the American chestnut, and these things are the American chestnut leaves and their little stem right here. All right, so this world is filled with wheat. You can see that. Pretty cool plainly, you'll see that there's mountains over on that side. It looks like maybe there's a farmer out there. It looks like there might be farmhouses, but it also might just be blocked off because it's a nature preserve. The system works together. All right, my next one is going to be red hickory. So inside here, I see an ocean that's with a boat. It says coastal boat. There's people in the boat. There's also maybe I feel like there's water coming into the boat, but it might be the engine that makes it just look like it's coming in the boat. But definitely the salt marshes, and seeing how does the salt marsh help the tree grow, and learning about the different animals that could live in. All right, so this is the butternut tree. I love the little leaves, they're so cute. I also love this name. So this looks like it's probably in a very old town somewhere, and most of these buildings have been kept old too, which is actually really fun. And this is a plot of land. All right, so this is the spruce pine. So lots of pine needles here. You can see how all of these trees are super, super long, but don't have a whole lot of like coverage. And on all of the sides too. So this looks very much the middle of the state, possibly, of North Carolina. And it's also like something that I would ask the question for like students in 6th grade would be like, why do you think that there's certain trees that have more coverage than other coverage? Because really you can see the difference. Like all the other ones have been pretty like covered and had like huge canopies above them, but these are very sparse, but they still have those little like leaves and maybe like why they actually grow the way that they do. So this is the American sycamore. I love a sycamore tree. I really do. Also, if you've ever seen Flip, they have the sycamore tree that she climbs up, and it's like where he thinks she's super annoying, but also like she's just trying to save a tree, and sometimes you don't always understand people. All right, so the American sycamore looks like there's definitely a lot of farmhouses. A lot of plowing has been done in this area. So probably this was like lush and covered, and all of the sides of like this road looked just like the left side of it. So just covered with all of these like grasses and flowers and wildflowers. But now because the American sycamore has grown in such like lush places that have had so much land, there have been so many people who have bought up this land and started building their houses and their farms and things like that. So maybe making the connections between how human organisms have taken over like natural resources a little bit, and how we've used these resources to also build our houses, but like we could have cut them down more sparsely than we have. Oh, these are so fun. So I love it. I'm really sampling the tree now. I think this is like a little chestnut, which is cool. Um, yeah, this is a buckeye, so the painted buckeye. Just to think if you found a buckeye like on a trail, you'd have good luck for a while. All right, so this is the American chestnut. So also we had the American chestnut leaves in here. You can see where this land also and how the trees and the things that grow on the trees are interconnected. And oak, we can also see vice versa that this is from the same location that the white oak actual tree was from too. Oh, okay. So actually, that's really exciting. So we had the white oak. Now we have a picture, a oak from the swamp chestnut oak. So you can see that it would be in a different location. So like this is where it gets kind of swampy. There's a lake that maybe goes through there. You can see all of like the different rocks. This really looks like the mountains to me. I love it. It would be a really nice place to just hang uncovered. So you can see how the root systems form in the swamp area. You like also it kind of looks like the wetlands that we have behind the E&V department in the preserve area. You can see how the trail connects to like the swamp, but also on like the ridges. Difference between like the chestnut oak and the swamp chestnut oak, and how they grow in different places too. And using some of that information, we might decipher like how other things can grow. Florida maple again. So we see the same landscape that we would see on the Florida maple, and how the Florida maple grows. We can see that there's a southern live oak. So these are still different types of oaks. So they're in different places. So like this is definitely a resorty area. You can see by how many developments are here. But like there's a boardwalk and there's a marsh and then there's the ocean, and it's deeply, deeply wide and open spaces in here. So you can see where the marsh would be helping the tree grow, and where like the development could start actually happening. Butternut. So we can see the butternut tree and how the butternut like little nut is because it's a butternut. So we're back in the same location with the train tracks, maybe the little mountains. We can see the eastern red cedar. So that's in the beach. Definitely we see sand. We see the actual waves. And then we see where like the marsh would be. And how this would grow in these little sand dunes. The app that I used was the Naturalist Workshop on VR headset. The app rating was a 3.67 out of 5. The creator of the app is a VR plant. URL is sidequest.vr.com/app/1408-naturalist-workshop. The content areas that it addresses are life science. The grade level is 6th grade. That's the grade that I was focusing on. The standards that it addresses is Life Science 6.1 and Life Science 6.2. Life Science 6.1 understands the structures, processes, and behaviors of plants that enable them to survive and reproduce. Life Science 6.2 understand the flow of energy through ecosystem and the responses of populations to the biotic and abiotic factors in their environment. The Bloom's level of taxonomy that it addresses are understanding, analyzing, and evaluating. These lessons that we would teach through this VR headset app are going to have to coexist with doing notes and also other projects that we do during the class. The curriculum content, the skills reinforced connected to target skills and concepts are minimal, but they are addressed. The authenticity are skills practiced in an authentic format, but there is no problem-based environment. Feedback is feedback specific and results in improved student performance. There is no feedback in this app, but the teacher using this app and also using coexisting assignments would be able to give their students feedback themselves. This app does offer flexibility to alter settings to meet students' needs. This app is user-friendly. Students can launch and navigate within the app independently. The students may or may not be motivated to use the app and select it often. It is kind of boring, but if you like trees, you may want to use this app quite frequently. The assessment summary data is not available electronically, but we can see what the students learn when they use coexisting assignments. The app music and sounds are calming, they're soothing, but there's not many sounds to it. The visual experience in the app is quite extraordinary. It is very, very awesome that you can interact with this app and see different parts of where these plants would grow and the ecosystems that they thrive in. The instructions are helpful. There's not many instructions, so you kind of have to play around with the app to figure it out. But it's quite possible that you can grasp the information and the content of how to use the app pretty quickly. I'd say that it takes probably around 2 minutes to actually figure out the app. The app does provide additional useful information by putting a pencil and an eraser in one of the drawers so that it kind of shows you should be taking notes while you're doing this. The app does use the navigation is pretty easy and able to be understood quite easily. And that is it for my app. Thank you so much for watching.